Power on. Select your players.
Pierre, Sarah, Glenn.
Select your topic.
Games.
Select your format.
Entertaining podcast.
They're called the Button Boys. So make some fucking noise. 'Cause they're gonna talk about video gaming and stuff.
Button Boys.
Hello and welcome to the News Agents. I'm Emily Maitlis and I'm joined as ever by John Sopel and Lewis Goodall. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Thank
Pierre
you for
and Sarah
having us, John.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome back to Button Boys, the comedy video games podcast. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Now, I want to start by asking the usual question of what you're playing, but I want to ask it in a different way because I suddenly had a flashback to about this time last year where it was my dad's retirement due and I went along just for the send-off. I'd never worked at his company. I was not allowed to. I wasn't qualified. But a guy...
The opposite of nepism.
It's the opposite of nepotism.
Never hire this man.
Oh, yeah. The closest we've come to nepotism is when we both didn't have a job. That's the closest we've ever had. I was chatting to a couple of his colleagues. I just had nothing in common with them. We were really nice. We were all, getting along, chatting. And then this guy, in his sort of 70s, just sort of cut through the crowd like It Follows, just sort of made a beeline for me. And he came over to me and went, "What have you done?" And I went, "What?" And he went, "What have you done?" And I was just like, what do you mean? And then one of the colleagues just sort of said in a real sort of "you idiot," went, he's asking your job. What do you do for a living? What have you done in the past? And it was like, don't word it like that. That's insane.
Yeah.
Don't word it like that's how you answer what we do for a living.
Up
What have you
until
done?
this point, what have you done?
Yeah.
That's what he's
What have
saying.
you done?
What
But he
have you
said it
done?
was such as if I'd shit his trousers.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, in terms of what you're playing this week, Sarah, what have you done?
I've done a lot of simulations.
Simulations?
Simulations.
What do you mean?
I mean, The Sims.
Nice.
Back to the Sims,
The Sims.
original Sims or new Sims?
New Sims. I would love to play Sims 2.
Right, hang on. Why that one?
It's the best one.
Okay.
They made it too complicated with Sims 3, 4. Sims 2 was the perfect amount of... They didn't have much free will. They didn't fight back.
Fuck. And that's what you're looking for.
They didn't fight back. It was easy to just steer them in the direction that you want them. But
Yeah.
I was playing Sims 4 this week, which
Nice.
I will tolerate.
Can you take me through your favourite family or household that you've got there?
I usually make an individual sim,
Yeah.
one sim, and I'm more interested in the career progression, which is not actually like me in real life.
Well, hang on. But in the new ones, do you get to see them at work and do you get to see their job? Or is it still a case of they leave, and then for 8 hours you play as a house?
Yeah.
you play as a house and you get to you get to put on your armour, I've earned a new window and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the sim knows that do you reckon, when furniture's being put into the Sim's house, do you think that's the Sim's decision? Or do they come back from work and they're like, fuck, I've got a swimming pool?
Yeah.
And it's been made for them.
Now there's windows.
Yeah.
If that's the world that everyone lives in, you don't question it, do you? You leave for work in the morning and go, well, John got a swimming pool yesterday.
Also, yeah, he's lucky.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
that
it might happen to me.
His house god
Yeah.
is nice to him.
His big house guard.
The god of his house.
Yeah.
See, that side of it's nice. If I came home and a door wasn't there that had been before, I'd feel like I was in Silent Hill.
But, but everybody lives in this world.
Yeah.
Silent
it's
Hill.
unpredictable.
Silent Hill
They're
is
used
just,
to it.
It's just The Sims, but from The Sims' point of view. That's what Silent Hill is. Just this misty...
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because in The Sims, you don't know what goes on further down the street. It just vanishes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a burglar. There's a baby on fire. That's really Silent Hill. That's really Silent
The
Hill.
Grim Reaper comes to your party.
The most honest version of The Sims would be that everyone's terrified the entire time.
Yeah. Someone sold my bed while I was in it and it melted.
Yeah. In my stats, it's like intelligence and charisma and one for just piss. That, I think, is one of the all-time funniest video game stats.
Yeah.
Like, if you were leveling up in Final Fantasy and there was a bladder stat, you'd go to what end?
Yeah.
With bladder, you can increase size, pressure, speed.
Yeah.
Like, it's the most advanced
And
bit of
the
the
more
game.
you play, the weaker it gets.
Yeah, if something frightening happens.
I only one I ever had was one. I only had the Sims 1. And when I say I had the Sims 1, my sister had the Sims 1.
Yeah.
And I would mess up her house whenever she wasn't in.
Right.
And so when she got The Sims, because I'd read about it and I knew all about The Sims, back in the day when you'd read like a video game magazine and you'd have read the manual and you knew all the you could play the game in your sleep having never played the game.
Yes.
I knew how to play The Sims.
Yeah.
And so when she first got it and sort of got me to install it basically for her, even though I was like 8 years old.
You were the IT support.
Yeah. I just made a
It's diabolical to set it all up knowing that she's not going to enjoy a moment of this game.
Yeah. I made a house that was just one corridor, which was one bald guy in the dirty vest, and just loads of children. And my sister thought that was part of the game. She thought that was like programmed in, and I was like, "That's a bit off, isn't it?" Like, yeah. He's got all loads of clown paintings, but that was it. That was it. It was the first one is so hard.
Yeah.
There was no benefit to having children because the children never grew up. Babies turned into children, but the children never got further than that. So they were just always at risk of being taken by social services to military school. And they get taken in the big van.
So you're just trapped in this curse of a constant childcare.
It's just a thing. You're just spinning plates all the time.
Yeah.
I really like that if you were a general in the army or the head of the mafia, a rusty car would show up outside your house and go, burp, burp. Time to carpool to the mafia, I guess.
What do you do for a living? Mafia.
Mafia. I used to have a stand-up routine when I did, obviously it had to be like doing student comedy because no one else in a club back then, no one would know what The Sims were. Maybe now it would work. It's like I got promoted because I played chess on my own for 4 days. Now I'm smart. I just went blah, 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 in a mirror, and now I'm sort of charismatic. And
What a lovely world it would be if that was the real.
all the objects have an effect on you, though. So like I remember in The Sims 1, I think, the best bed for how relaxed and the effect it had was like a rocket ship bed. Like a child's rocket ship bed. So you'd be like, well, obviously I'm now general in the army, so in order to be calm enough to do my job well, I have to sleep in this big rocket ship.
This is a problem that simulation games have, I think, where it's like AI not understanding aesthetics.
Yeah.
And what a theme park, for instance, that might look really pretty to you, the game hasn't registered because they go, you've spaced the plant features too far apart and they don't link together, and as a result, you don't get the bonus.
Yeah.
So actually what you need to do is you need to group 1,000 plants in one area, 1,000 clown statues in another, and they go, beautiful, beautiful today.
It's going to be the most sensory, horrific experience for your actual people.
Yeah, your sim is incredibly happy and intelligent and relaxed because they have a chess set, a single mirror, a rocket ship bed, and I remember a kind of a lamp shaped like a star. That was just like the best lamp, the most delicious lamp. But they have a direct effect. So every object in The Sims is like the ring from Lord of the Rings, in the sense that its effect is not, like you say, an aesthetic judgment.
Yeah.
It's real and literal.
Yeah, they don't go, I just like that.
I'm happier now because of the lamp. Like, it's true and real.
Yeah, I don't need to go out
and they
tonight.
look at the lamp and they feel it.
They go, oh, and that little speech bubble. Yeah.
With the lamp.
Thank you, House God, for my lamp. Yes.
With the lamp, I don't need to go to sleep anymore. I got the lamp. So The Sims, fair. I mean, like, I'm too scared to go back to it because, again, I've only played the first one, and I think playing a new one would be too overwhelming. I feel the same way about FIFA. It's now just like, I just want to pass, shoot, and have one button for tackling, and now there's 8 buttons for it, and I don't have enough fingers.
Yeah.
Pierre, what have you done?
What have I done? I briefly dipped back into Europa Universalis IV, which is a bit like briefly dipping back into Opium or... Like, it's such a dangerous game for me.
What is this game? Tell me about it.
It's another aggressively complicated historical map game.
Of course it is.
It's a lovely map game.
Guessing top-down? Isometric?
Top-down, big map.
When you said Europa, I thought, could this be football? And then I thought, couldn't be.
But also a quite low-stakes football game, but only the Europa League.
Yeah.
And you go, have you got the Champions League? No, we're not good
That's
enough
our
for that.
entry-level FIFA. There should be a gateway where you go, we're just going to teach you everything that's been happening over the last decade.
Yeah. You can't buy the higher league games till you win. Like, you have to send in a printout of what you've done.
Your certificate.
Yeah, it should unlock those sort of things behind progression. How does Europa League? Is it set in a particular time period? Or does it make a crew?
Yes, Europa is the early modern period, so end of the 100 Years' War, so 1444 till to 1820, I think. It's a bit like Crusader Kings, but modern.
Sarah, you.
It's the same guys.
Pierre ruined my life in lockdown, which was fine. There wasn't much of a life to ruin at the time. But this
It
game
was waiting to be ruined.
This game, Crusader Kings, is so absurdly complicated. The game recommends you don't unpause it for the first couple of hours. It's like it sets you up. It starts and the game is paused, and it's like, do not fucking press the unpause. We're going to have a couple of lessons, and I'm going to teach you everything.
It's like when you have your first driving lesson, and they're like, turn the engine off,
Yeah.
take your hands off the wheel. We're not going to be going anywhere.
My first lesson, he didn't let me sit in the driver's seat. He made me sit directly behind him in the back. I was in the passenger seat for the whole thing. And at one point, I think I sort of like grazed the gear stick and he was like, don't touch it yet. And it was like, I'm not obviously not trying to make you drive.
You grab the wheel.
Yeah, it's basically, in the same way that Crusader Kings is, it's a game that's like, learning how to play the game is like having to do a GCSE in it. It's ridiculous.
And you find this fun.
This is going to become a real running sentence.
Sometimes, yeah. And you go on Reddit and there'll be someone who they'll show a screenshot of their Steam account and it'll be like 4,000 hours in game, and they'll be posting saying, "How does the trade system work?" You just think, okay, if you don't fucking know, or they'll be posting.
I'm finally getting round to the trade system.
Yeah. And there's memes in the Europa 4 subreddit where the meme will be like X number of hours in game, and I've just discovered this. But it'll be stuff like everyone in the world who's played the game thought that you had to manually click all these things to get them to go or to stop. There's like a way that you just right click them and it all just happens. And someone will be like 40,000 hours in game and not know.
I don't enjoy this in any way, and I'm feeling this. It's worth mentioning that we're playing. If you go on Patreon, we are playing a bit of Dark Souls.
Yes,
every week.
Every week, and my constant feeling when I'm playing Dark Souls is that there is something I should know that I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
Well, Peter Serafinowicz had this with Dark Souls. He didn't know you could lock on to an enemy. So he played the entire game just like circling around people and rolling around and just couldn't do it. And it's so embarrassing when you realise that, because you go, does the game know I didn't know this? And is that should I feel really embarrassed?
At some
Well,
point,
I've just remembered they tell you how to lock on.
Oh, Sarah, okay. Well, no, that's quite early. We're still early on. We'll
talk
you can
about
find
it
out
on
how we're getting on
Patreon.
in the Patreon episode.
Yeah.
But here's a reminder, because also podcasts tend to leave it to the very end to talk about what the Patreon is.
Yeah.
And by that point, people may have switched off. So if you've come this far, and thank you for joining us, our Patreon every week, you can hear basically an extra episode in which we're talking about video game nostalgia, just general extra video game chat on top of the podcast. Also, each week we'll be recommending a game, usually a cheap game, but a game that we think you may not have heard of, but we think you'd really, really like. But also, we're doing a weekly playthrough of Dark Souls, where we're just going through one location, one boss at a time, taking it slowly. I've played Dark Souls a few times. These guys haven't. And we're just getting a range of opinions, with yourself included, so do feel free to get in touch. In the description underneath the podcast about how you're getting on with it as well, if you're playing, or if you do want to play, or if you don't want to play. But the Patreon obviously offers that extra episode. You also get with the Patreon live 24/7 camera stream from Pierre's bathroom.
Yeah.
So remember to tune in. We all use it,
and you can't turn it off.
You can't turn it off. It gets sent to you directly in like a DVD.
And if you unsubscribe from the Patreon, it's still you still get it. So don't worry.
Yeah. So, The Sims, Europa, both PC. Are you playing on PC on The Sims?
Yes.
And you're playing on
PC,
PC on yours.
yeah.
I'm playing a PC game as well, which is not very many. I've been playing. It's called Try Not to Come.
It's made by that's made by Paradox as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's a solo developer, Donald Muck. But it's good. It's good. It's
Okay.
like it's nice for. I feel like Xbox, their mascot is like Master Chief, and Nintendo's got Mario, and PlayStation's got like Kratos or that sort of thing. And it's nice for PC to have a mascot, a figure.
Yeah.
Which is naked pirate lady with a huge dick.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the eye patch and the big boobs and the huge dick, I think is a good PC mascot.
Is the game like co-op?
Well, no, it's
trying
like,
to
the game
coordinate.
so far has mostly just been filling out my credit card details over and over again, but I'll keep you updated on how that's going. Elsewhere, I've been playing Blueprints. This was a big hit a few months ago, and it was about this time last year it got like announced, and it was straight on my wish list. I couldn't wait to play it, and then it came out, and I was so excited, and I felt so cool for knowing about this game before it was cool, and then I just couldn't get into it. Are you guys familiar with Blueprints?
See, I don't know whether you're being serious or not.
Blueprints is real.
Okay.
I promise it's real. As is Try Not to Come, but I haven't been playing Try Not to Come. But Blueprints is a real game. You can get it on PS Plus. and
But
you
are
can get
you
it on
saying
Xbox Game
Blue
Pass.
Prince?
Well, this is what people didn't realise until ages on.
Blue
It's
Prince.
called Blue, then different word, Prince as in Prince Andrew.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
Of course, the
but
first prince that comes to
the
mind.
first Prince that comes to mind,
Yeah.
our Prince. But the idea is it's a puzzle game.
Big sponsor of Try Not to Come, isn't it?
Try not to sweat. It's a game about a mansion and the design of a mansion, and thus it also means blueprints, like blueprints for a map. So the idea is a first-person puzzle game. Looks kind of quite cartoony and cel-shaded. The idea is you've inherited an estate from a dead relative that has got 45 rooms, but you only get to keep the estate if you can find the 46th room. So the idea is it's like first person. You walk into this lobby, and there's 3 doors, and when you go to try to open one of the doors, it basically says, what room do you want to be behind that door? And it gives you a selection of 3 rooms that go, like some have like 4 exits, some have a right turn, some are just like a straight corridor, some are dead ends. And it'd be like, do you want to place a bathroom? Do you want to place a kitchen? Do you want to place a living room? And the idea is you're trying to place all these rooms up this map until you've filled out the map and you can reach this elusive 46th room. But each of the individual rooms has its own little puzzle. Sometimes it's got like a maths puzzle behind it. I know you hate maths and you just have to get used to it because it sucks. And then some have like 3 boxes, and one will be like, the white box is telling the truth, and then the white box is sort of like the black box is telling a lie, and then the blue box, you've got to work out which one's got the gem in it. And so the idea is you progress through this mansion, and it's a puzzle game where they recommend you keep a notepad and a pen, and you make a note of all your findings, and it's kind of a game that people have been discovering together, which was kind of Dark Souls when it came out.
Yeah.
People were working out what to do together, and it was kind of like, it was basically like JSTOR. It was peer-to-peer learning. Animal Well had this last year as well, but it's a game that people absolutely love. However, my luck with RNG and general just randomly generated things is so bad, I cannot progress through the game. You have to get through about 8 rows worth of rooms. I haven't progressed more than about 4 rows in, and I'm about 50 attempts in. I'm so many hours in. I'm getting as far as most people do usually in their first 15 minutes of play, and I just cannot do it. I have such bad luck with games, and I'll give you an example of this. In Baldur's Gate 3, I once rolled 8 critical fails in a row. That's 20-sided dice. I got 8 in a row, which my friend worked out is a 1 in 25.5 billion chance.
You are kidding.
Of happening.
Really?
Yeah. They weren't in a row. I was save scumming. So each time I was reloading, it was just 1 again. Reload, 1 again, 1 again. I shouldn't have been save scumming, but I was just so annoyed.
What?
I cannot play this game.
You know the meme about RN Jesus?
No.
That's who you pray to get your RNG number better.
I can't do it. And I almost want to...
You go back to the start every time.
You go to the start. So it's a roguelite like Hades, basically, where you go back to the beginning. You can, if you make a bit of progression, you can like try and retain some items. But it's just and sometimes you'll get a key that only unlocks such and such a room, and that room just won't come up for me. So then I end my run. Now I don't have the key, and then that room will. I need help because we're at a stage of the year where there aren't a huge amount of releases in terms of big releases. Death Stranding 2 was quite recent, and that was a massive one. And obviously Metal Gear Solid 3 remakes coming out soon. Those are really big ones. But I generally find the peak of summer there's not a huge amount going on, and so it allows me to go back and finish all the games that I got a few hours into. And I can't do it. And the worst thing is everyone's like 10 out of 10, one of the best games of all time, absolutely incredible. And I'm like, but I don't get to have the same experience as you guys.
Do you want someone to come round and click the mouse for you?
I want someone to make... Yeah, I think I can't be holding the controller.
Yeah.
But if we do it, does that mean did I win then? Did I complete it if someone else had to hold the controller
But
for
if you
me?
make every decision, but it's someone else's hand. I know that this sounds like we're talking about trying not to come again, but
If I sit on my hand, it feels like someone else is drafting the kitchen.
Yeah. So if suddenly the RNG starts being really nice when it's someone else's hand, but still your commands,
then
you're physically cursed. If it's still bad, even though that someone else is doing it, but it's still because you're instructing them, then it's your soul in some way is cursed.
Right. Are you guys free later?
Yeah.
At some point during this podcast, we'll work out which bit of Glenn is cursed.
One inch at a time. We'll get it. We'll stop at the navel, and then and we'll restart the knees, and then we'll work it out.
The Patreon will figure out why you're cursed.
Yes, just after toilet stream. So our big topic of the day, before we move on to your gripes and our gripes, is I want to talk about scary games. Now, we're probably going to do a broader episode in the future just about scariest game of all time and that sort of thing. But I just wanted to talk about any time you felt scared by a game that wasn't intentionally meant to be scary. So I love Portal, for instance. Portal was an incredible puzzle game. It was really, really good fun. It was very cartoony. Stephen Merchant and J.K. Simmons were in the sequel, and it was all very silly and fun. But there's something about being the only character in a game. You are the only person, especially exploring a big abandoned factory. I feel so embarrassed by this. First time I played Portal, towards the end, I got a bit scared, and I don't usually get scared by games.
Why? What flavour of scared? Because there's different flavours. Like there's unsettled, there's disturbed, there's jump scare.
I was unsettled because I thought I know nothing will come out and nothing will emerge. But the scariest thing that could happen right now is I just see another figure, and even if they're perfectly placid and they're perfectly reasonable and friendly, that I think would scare me, and I started to get unnerved at the idea of that.
Couldn't relax with the thought that you are alone.
Oh God,
You were
yeah,
like,
thanks, Sarah.
In life.
Well, it's because of a really terrifying thing that happened to me when I was at school in a video game where a friend of mine burnt a copy of Medal of Honor Allied Assault, which was the Medal of Honor game where you storm the beaches of Normandy like the beginning of Saving Private Ryan. You storm Omaha Beach. And because he burnt me a copy of it, you couldn't play online on this burnt copy because it just wasn't made like that. You could go on the online multiplayer, but there'd be no one there. And so me and a friend were playing it one day in which we were just walking around Omaha Beach on our own because there's nothing, no one can log into the game. We're not even on the internet. And someone appeared in our game, and it was just a computer. It was just a glitch. It definitely wasn't a person. But we were playing.
Definitely wasn't a person.
Definitely wasn't a person.
Who are you trying to convince?
But we were up like in the machine gun nests at the top, and we just saw this figure just emerge from the boats basically, and just start running just in a direct straight line up the beach. But we just so happened to be perfectly opposite it, that it was just running towards us. And then when he got to the nearest wall, he just ran into the wall for ages. But we were so scared to go near him, just in case he turned around and went, "Hello, Glenn." Like I was so scared. And so I think situations where you are meant to be alone and then you might not be is actually pretty scary for me. There's a very short online game, a free game I think called No Players Online, which deals with this very same thing. Someone going on an abandoned multiplayer server, but then it sort of gets infected. But that's what scared me. I mean, I guess my first question is, do you guys get scared by games ever?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as a result, you don't play scary games.
I'm not a scary game guy. I have played The Last of Us, and there have been times when I've been playing it and I've made my partner sit with me.
I think that's fair enough. It is ultimately a horror game, and it's not really advertised as such.
And I often will turn the sound off because it's the sound that gets you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can tell when a game designer has, you go, okay, these are the default settings.
Yeah.
And you go and you look in the sound default settings, and it's like, okay, music, that's at 100. Atmospheric effects, that's at 80. Dialogue's at 80. Goblin screams at 300. Okay, I say, right. Okay, I see. I understand.
I tried to get Katie into The Last of Us because I was like, she loved Uncharted, and I was like, well, you'll love it. I promise you'll love this. This is excellent. It's meant to be a horror, but actually, I think horror games usually, the first time you're killed by the enemy, it then stops being scary.
Yeah,
because you then get over it and you've seen the worst it can get. And so I was like, we'll play it. We'll get killed as quickly as we can, so you know what it looks like, and then we're just in. And we got past the tutorial, and she turned to me and she was like, my biggest fears in the world are basically climate change, like the idea of the world ending, and the safety of our child. And you've shown me a game where the world ended and his daughter died immediately. And I went, I'm so sorry. And then she didn't play anymore. And I wanted to be like,
and isn't it great?
Yeah, and I had to be like, so as far as she's concerned, that's the entire game. Yeah. And I went, you'll like this. And I had to be like, it's just the beginning. Please move. It's actually a really hopeful story. And then again, no more. And she just won't do it.
Yeah.
Here's a game you'll like, and just getting a gun out and putting it.
Yeah.
Why were you trying to convince her to keep playing when the entire premise of the game is this desperate attempt to protect yet another child?
But which he succeeds in doing, famously. He succeeds too well to the detriment of the world.
Yeah.
It was so revolutionary in terms of storytelling that I know that games that had come before it were very advanced in storytelling, like Red Dead Redemption and games like that, but it was so completely different that I'd never really played a game where you should be questioning the protagonist's actions. So what happened was when it were like in the hospital where he's like, I'm going to kill all the surgeons, I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to fucking kill all the surgeons. And there was no hesitation about killing the head surgeon and saving Ellie. There was no doubt in my mind.
Even that protagonist is conflicted, but you walked away like,
I was like, I did my objective. I did what the game told me to. I just wasn't concentrating.
Yeah, objective, kill head surgeon.
Kill head surgeon.
Kill an innocent man.
Great.
Yeah. And so
But do you think that's because there was no... It does make you question it on a sort of subtle level, but there's no like honor scale or anything like that.
Exactly. There's no.
So it's not guiding you to think. You're not. It's not like she might die. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Kill everyone?
Yeah. It was
Ask them not to.
well, yeah, because
Go
if it
home.
was like Telltale's The Walking Dead or something where it has like options of like save Ellie, kill Ellie, you know, and you choose one of those. There's nothing like that. It just goes,
Yeah.
I ran into the surgeon. He just kept pushing me away. So there's nothing I could do. So it was like, obviously I'll shoot you specifically in the dick. Sorry, Abby, but they say they shot him 11. They shot your dad 11 times in the dick before abducting a child.
I got scared when I was maybe 10 or 11 by Medal of Honor Allied Assault.
Really?
Well, so
Because you were like, this could happen to me.
I was like, God, well, war is hell. I was scared in a really sophisticated way about the nature of war and human
It's a
conflict.
cautionary tale.
Yeah, gosh. I didn't know. I know this sounds mad, but I was like 10, and I'd played Age of Empires till like my brain got hot. Like I loved that.
Age of Empires, you're at a safe distance, though, aren't you?
Well, yeah, you're in the sky,
You're
I
up in
suppose.
the clouds.
Yeah.
You're God.
You can see
Yeah.
everything that's happening
Yeah.
before it happens.
Well, that's it. And I had seen like my cousin in South Africa playing the original World of Warcraft, very pixely, and I thought, yeah, that games are that, or games are things on like Sega, and they go sideways.
Right, yeah.
And then I walked into Game on the high street in Douglas on the Isle of Man, and I picked up Medal of Honor Allied Assault, and I was like, oh, it'll be like Age of Empires but World War
So it's
II.
gonna be like a side-scrolling jump on the Nazi's head to get points, but some have got spikes on the helmet, and those will injure you.
But I turned it around and I realized it was first person, and I genuinely remember thinking, I didn't know they could do that. I didn't know you could be a guy in a game. It just blew my mind. I was like, there's no way.
This is like the time I realised S Club 7 were real people.
Oh, sorry, hang on. Right, over to you.
I just made me
Over
think
to you
of-
forever.
There's moments as children where you realise you exist in this. Like,
Yeah.
there's more going on than you think. And I thought that they were sort of
Cartoons.
fictional characters because they had a TV show.
Oh,
And I remember realising that they were real.
wait, they're
in the
real. I
world.
could meet them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They exist in the same world that I.
There's something frightening about it.
Yeah.
I think there's something more frightening about the idea that kid you assumed that they go off stage and Bradley gets unzipped and a different guy's in there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
But actually, it was more of like a Lorraine Kelly situation in which they were playing the character of Hannah and they're playing the character
Yeah,
of
they were
Joe.
being them. Yeah, they were
But they are
themselves.
just themselves.
Or just they turn the stage lights off and they just go, ha.
They shut down.
Yeah, it's like Chuck E. Cheese or Five Nights at Freddy's. They're just
Yeah.
animatronics.
And I found that more reassuring.
Yeah, it's nicer.
Yeah.
Club.
Yeah. Whereas I was like, Paul could get me.
But when I installed it with like whatever 7 CDs, whatever it was, and I was just like walking around, and the first missions are in North Africa, and I was like, this cannot, and the adrenaline, because when like it's always insane because you go back and look and everything looks like it's made out of blue tack.
Yeah.
But at the time you're like, I'm in World War II,
Yeah.
and before you do the kind of very dramatic and at the time horrifying Omaha Beach mission.
Yeah, they leave it to halfway, whereas Medal of Honor Frontline, which is the PlayStation one, that's the big opener.
Big opener, yeah. There's a moment, the bit that scared the shit out of me, and I had to, genuinely as a kid, I had to go lie down. until like my heart stopped beating so fast. I was just like, I have to lie down. There's a bit where you're walking through, you're trying to sneak through some sort of German base to sabotage like a bunch of trucks or whatever. And there's like spotlights moving around from search towers.
And you got to shoot the spotlight? Is that it?
Well, they've got machine gunners behind them. But I didn't realize that. I thought the spotlights are just atmospheric.
So you just have to sneak through, like,
Yeah.
avoid the spotlight.
Yeah, well, I thought to myself, well, I guess I'll just walk through this courtyard then. And then the spotlight got me, and then immediately it was like German shouting, the loudest machine gun sound effect you've ever heard, blinding light filling the screen, and then just like blood flashes and death, and just it happens. And it was so tense because I could tell that I was supposed to be sneaky in some way, but I'd never played a mission like that. I didn't know what to do.
It sounds like you were so immersed in a game in a way that I think I've never been. I'm picturing
Yeah.
you sort of strapped with loads of electrodes, and each time you're being shot, it's sort of like it's showing up on your body.
Genuinely playing it with like maximum concentration, maximum historical interest, maximum fear. Just every possible level I can be interested or engaged by something, I was in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to fucking lie down for a bit before I try that mission again.
It is really frightening when you're playing a game and you haven't quite worked out what the wrong thing is, and then it reacts like that, and the alarms go off, and everything goes red, and you die, and it does make you jump.
It feels like you're in trouble.
Yeah.
It feels like the game is cross with you, and that your parents are going to get like notified. I feel like your school, the headmaster would be sort of like, "Hey, we heard you were playing Allied Assault at the weekend, and they're really EA are really upset with what you did."
Pierre's called in.
Yeah.
So why did you just walk through the corridor?
Yeah. We've actually gone back and lost World War II now. So I hope you're happy.
Willkommen.
So you won't be having a lunch break.
Button Boys.
The two elements I find when I'm feeling scared by a game that isn't meant to be scary is when it feels like something has gone wrong in the game, or like I'm in trouble with the game. Me and my sister used to play Rollercoaster Tycoon together, and we used to really like mess with just one guest. We just put them on just one raised plinth where like David Blaine, everyone could see them and they've got nothing, and we'd like to see how angry they got. And you can look up online, there's like 6 states of facial expression that they had in the original Rollercoaster Tycoon. And I swear to God, and my sister still maintains, and I asked her about this last year, she maintains this did happen. Maybe it's a shared false memory, but this character at the bottom of the screen that we'd left there for days and days and days while everyone else was enjoying the Ferris wheel and the roller coasters just got a new facial expression that was so darkly angry that wasn't like the most they could get was like it would be this little caricature of like a seething human face of basically like steam pointing at me. This was just a really fucking cross guy, and we got so scared.
All the humanity has left his eyes.
And we immediately went, okay, let's get the pincers, let's put him back in the park. Let's put him back in the park, and you can play. You can go, mate. You can go whatever you want. I'm so sorry because I felt like you were gonna get like an email from the makers of Rollercoaster Tycoon going, "You're evil. What you did to that guy, I know it's fake, but that says a lot about you as a person."
Yeah.
And he wouldn't leave the fucking park. He was so angry, and he was just walking around the park, and we just got so fucking scared.
It could be that thing where like his sort of satisfaction rating had gone down to a number so low that
he was irreparable. He was just broken.
It was like
broken.
Well, that's it. It'd be like minus a million, and so like every time he goes on a ride he likes, it's like plus 100. So you'll just never.
No, yeah, we'd like nicknamed him Reek for. He was just a broken person. So I felt scary that I feel scared in those moments where you feel like you've done something wrong, and then I feel scared in other moments where you just know you're being tracked or followed. So we spoke about Warzone, for instance, in our first episode of any time I've been like hidden in a bush, and you just see real big boys, people who are better at the game, just walking near your bush, and they're just sniffing you out, and that makes me feel scared. I get scared in Soulsborne games, like in Dark Souls, as we're going to talk about in the Patreon, but any time in like Elden Ring or anything like that, you're walking around with thousands of souls and you're not near a save point.
Yes.
And it feels like, and it speaks to that real feeling of, we have this in comedy when you do like a cash gig and you've got to walk home and you're like, this is what it must have felt like for everyone ever. Like back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember going to like Disney World as a kid when I was 7 and my mum going to exchange all of our money into dollars in Croydon and then us having to like get the bus home from the place she exchanged it from. And I've never been so scared that my mum was going to get mugged for the first time in her life. But that's how I feel when I'm playing Dark Souls. I feel like I've got loads of money in my back pocket.
Yeah.
And goblins want to take it from me.
It doesn't. I don't know if it counts as scared, but unsettled.
Yeah,
Like
unsettled.
Disturbed.
We'll take Disturbed.
Abe's Oddysee. Like
Abe's Oddysee is
like
fucked.
Yeah, creatures just being fed into big minces, into like pies and things, and you're one of them. You're like a sort of cow alien compared to the big aliens who are like hitting you with whips and stuff.
Abe's Oddysee was so weird. Did you play this as
No.
a kid? It was like a side scroller, but it was like pixel perfect platforming. You had to, if you made a jump, you had to be lined up perfectly with the edge of a ledge and jump perfectly. And if you didn't, your character would just fucking explode because he
This is a
landed on a
PC
landmine.
game.
It was a PlayStation game as well.
Yeah, on PlayStation.
And it was so weird because you played as this weird guy who sort of had like a slightly snake-esque head. And they were called Meducans, I think.
Yeah.
And they had, their mouths were stitched up, so they had cross stitches on either side of their mouth. So they found it quite difficult to talk, and that's kind of what they spoke like. And they had really big bug eyes, and they're basically naked apart from a loincloth. And they're basically enslaved in these factories that make squirm, I think, or slurm is the name of the drink or the food that they make.
It's something like Slurm is the Futurama drink.
Right, okay.
But it was something. It was
similar
it was
to that.
glorp, you know, whatever.
But it turns out that all your race of people are the people. You're the ingredients. You're being sort of minced up. So you, as Abe, with no fighting abilities whatsoever, were rescuing all these people from the factory.
Yeah.
And it was so impossibly hard because you had to make sure you had to like tiptoe everywhere you went. You couldn't alert any guards because if one spots you and shoots you, you're one shot dead. It was just really hard. But I think
so
that game made me
tense.
feel unsettled because you'd go, it felt like it was part of some long-running franchise from decades ago. It felt like it had always been because you go, who the fuck invented this weird farting alien guy with a stitched-up mouth?
Yeah.
And it's about slavery. And it's for children.
So much knowledge presumed. You go, and of course the overseers with their whips and big masks, and you go, okay, because you're 8.
Yeah, and you're like, I'm the problem.
Yeah, I should have known that. Yeah,
I'm the problem.
I wasn't listening at school
Yeah.
when they explained about Abe.
Because like, when you're 8, that is just the world.
Yeah.
You take everything at face value. You go, oh, this has all been happening without me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Mum knows Abe's Odyssey. Yeah.
Everyone in all the retirement homes around, they know about Abe's
Yeah.
Odyssey. They're playing it.
Yeah.
They think I'm an idiot for not knowing about this. Yeah, that game unsettled me. Where you go, oh, I remember. Yeah, sometimes games you just go, God, that's sad.
Yeah,
Ugh.
what a shame. I should
a
be feeling
shame.
that from a game I spent £40 on as a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
What a shame.
You're lying in bed at night, 10 years old. Just couldn't save them all.
Just couldn't get them out of that
Yeah.
big food mincer.
Having to rescue all of those slaves in Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus, and the other ones they made, Fresh and Tasty, I think was a more recent one, brings me on to a gripe. Any more for any more? Or should we move on to gripes?
Oh,
You got one?
Unsettled.
Let's-
Big one.
Yeah,
Big one.
Lavender Town in Pokemon.
nice. Okay.
Are you familiar with the music?
No, I'm not.
Oh yeah.
How horrible is this? It's the way it starts as well. I don't know if you heard how it starts. It just starts with that beat.
I hate this.
Oh.
It's like a heartbeat monitor duet.
Yeah. But that's, as long as you're in the town, that's what's happening.
And is Lavender Town the spooky town?
It's the one where there's like a big Pokemon graveyard, and it's
And-
where a lot of
Pokemon Graveyard.
there's a lot of ghost Pokemon.
It's all the ghost Pokemon in that
Yeah.
big tall tower.
Yeah, the big
Yeah.
tower with all
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Never clearly explained where they sort of go. All the Pokemon graveyard with the ghosts, and you go. So when can I? How does this happen?
And we allocated a singular town where all the Pokemon, the dead Pokemon
Yeah, that's
go.
really horrible. Like
Yeah.
a plague pit.
Yeah.
Because also, you go, if defeating them in a match doesn't do it, what does?
That's it. Yeah.
What does?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it like a knacker's yard sort of thing?
Yeah. The dog's not dead. It's gone to Lavender Town.
It's gone to Lavender
Yeah.
Town.
And the music it hears is like this.
Yeah.
Forever.
I'd love it that the music only started playing after the first time a Pokemon got killed. And then suddenly it started to play deafeningly around the town. It'd be like a Twilight Zone. I'm in hell. I'm in hell.
Every time they turn the radio on. Boom, boom.
Horrible music. That's really
Yeah.
unpleasant. I have.
Yeah.
I felt this way. Sonic Drowning was music that really made me feel like I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And he'd come out all bloated and like one eye closed. No, that's not true. But I just, can you imagine? One more of mine. This is my last one, but this was, again, the sense of being pursued made me so scared. In Timesplitters 2, which was one of my favourite first-person shooters of all time,
Great game.
but I feel I'm nervous to go back to it. It's back on PlayStation Plus. I played Timesplitters 1 a few months ago, having never ever played it. It was a PlayStation 2 launch game, and I didn't get the PlayStation 2 on launch day. I got it a few years after, and by that point, so many new games had come out that no one was talking about the first Timesplitters. The Timesplitters 1 is so shit. It is so shit that it makes me not want to go back and play Timesplitters 2, which is wonderful. Timesplitters 2 holds a great place in my heart because I loved it when I was at school. I was obsessed with it. And then at uni, one of my friends had his very old GameCube. And what we do is we try and get through Timesplitters 2 and we try and finish the campaign on co-op, on hard, and we could never get past the robot factory. And to this day, once every couple of years, we meet up, we get the GameCube out, and we still try and complete that mission, and we can't. We did it on my stag do. Pierre played Timesplitters for the first time, and I thought you were going to hit someone.
I really hate it. It is such a difficult to see what's going on first-person
I
shooter
don't even
in
know
multiplayer.
if I ever played the campaign of Timesplitters because I would play it with my brother and my cousins. We'd
Yeah.
play 4-play multiplayer.
Nice, yeah.
And just, it would be like you were in a team or everyone's against, like, what every man for themselves type thing. And so we'd just go mad with all the like mad cars that you could get and all the shooting. It was just crazy.
It was. I loved it so much, but I think no genre ages worse than a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Really, really hard work. And like GoldenEye, for instance, when that got basically re-released on Xbox and Nintendo Switch, I think about a year or two ago, and it was just the aiming is just impossible.
Yeah.
If you're aiming in the top left and you let go for 1 second, it just reverts back to the dead center, and you go, in what world?
Come on.
Crazy.
In what world? Grow up. But Timesplitters is one of my favourite modes. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Wait, Timesplitters scared you?
Timesplitters scared me because one of the arcade modes it had, because it all had the regular one, deathmatch, team deathmatch, capture the bag, all that sort of stuff. Then it had some really fun ones, like Virus, for instance, was a great one, which was one person is permanently on fire, and if they get in touch, if they make contact with you, you're on fire. The fire doesn't kill you, but it means you're out of the game.
Yeah.
And the idea is the game ended when only one person was left not on fire. So eventually you're looking around this map and every single person's on fire.
Oh my God.
And they had another great round called another great game called Elimination, which is everyone's got a set number of lives, and when you run out of lives, you are dead, and so it's last person standing.
This is what we would play.
Elimination was great, but on
Incredible
Elimination.
fun.
And on Virus, in Timesplitters 2, for some reason, if you were playing solo against like 20 of the computer, they would just gravitate towards you, the player. They would not attack each other. They just gravitate towards you. So Virus became terrifying. Elimination became especially terrifying because you've got all these people who in any other world would hate each other. The bear doesn't like the chef. The chef doesn't like the duck.
Yeah.
The duck doesn't like the alien. The alien doesn't like Kitten Celeste. Kitten Celeste doesn't like Captain Ash. But yet, they would all just, it was like a Christmas Day truce. And they'd go, let's just take out this one fucking 13-year-old boy who is so scared in the haunted asylum.
My
and just
enemy's
run
enemy is
towards
my
him.
friend.
They just.
Oh my God, it was so scary.
So they'd just been programmed to some sort of. It was supposed to be more diluted than this, but just
They meant to take out each other, and it was all like, whoa, what a battlefield. But they all just aim at you.
because they'd all been programmed like obviously the human player is more dangerous.
Yeah.
So like, oh, we'll give them a 0.1 preference towards attacking the human.
Yeah.
But when there's only one human, that must just multiply, and they just go and just turn.
I hate that boy.
So that would give you the horrors.
It would give you the horrors because the idea of being perceived by the game and being of interest. Do you know what I mean? That was I think sort of like I quite like the idea of keeping your head down in a game. I really enjoy in like an open world game or something like that the idea that you can just be a civilian and you're kind of no one. I really love being no one in a game. I really like being a small scale person. I don't like being the king. I like there being more important players. I like being able to miss a train in a game and stuff like that. I don't like that the train arrives just for me. I just quite like that. And so the idea of everyone's looking at you. It's like an Inception where every single person is looking at them in the dream. That's kind of what it felt like. I was like, guys, I'm just browsing. I just want to keep my head down. You guys enjoy yourselves. I'll kill the occasional person, but just let me just do my own thing.
And
Wild
instead-
take for a stand-up comedian,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, what's that about? That's something.
You play games to escape. You're like, nobody look at me. I'm off work tonight.
Yeah, well, actually, I've started coming out on stage at the beginning of gigs and sort of go, don't mind me. I'm just going to talk amongst yourselves.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
I'm just gonna talk here for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, but don't I'm a restaurant pianist when it comes to stand-up comedy. I'm in the corner of it, pleasant to listen to in the background, but if people turn their chairs around, you go, no, keep eating.
No, yeah, don't make it weird.
I have a call out for anyone listening because I don't know what this game is, but I remember playing it again with my cousin as a child. If either of you know, it's
Sort of like a blue hedgehog.
Yeah, little plumber. So it's like a Rome. I'd say it's third person. It's in Rome, but the opening scene, you're on like a boat. And this would used to terrify me, but for some reason we always just would replay this kind of opening sequence. You're on this boat, and a huge sea creature
God of War.
crashes through the boat.
First God of War.
Is it the very first
I
God
think
of
it's
War?
the very first God of War.
Is it?
Yeah.
I have.
And the camera would like swoop in and
I've
zoom
looked
after
it
you.
up, and it said God of War, and I've tried to find the cutscene of this thing crashing through the boat because I want to relive the fear, and I've never been able to find
It's like
it.
a big hydra, and there's loads of shipwrecks around, and it's a stormy night.
I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna look.
I think it's got to be that. That's the first thing that came to mind. I'm trying to think of other Rome-based games like Rise, Son of Rome, but that was Xbox, and you're not an Xbox person. I think it has to have been the very first God of War, but the first that is Shipwreck, Stormy Night.
It's
third
gotta
person,
be. It's gotta be. God
And
of
then
War.
the first boss is a big Hydra. It's got to be that.
It must be.
But that was how did that scare you?
Horrifying.
Oh,
Just
really?
The anticipation of it coming through the boat, and just the way it looked, the size of it, it freaks me out thinking about it now. I haven't seen it in over 20 years.
It's not because that game was like rated 18, but I played God of War 2 a few months ago. As in, like, the God of War 2 from back in the day, not like one of the new God of War ones from the last, like, 6 years. And it's weird because they're so, as a kid, you're like, they're the most 18 rated a game gets. It's like GTA.
Yeah.
But looking back, it is I think it's a good way to get children into the concept of violence in a video game because the way you kill things is so absurd. You go, I couldn't remove someone's spine if I could.
Could
Do
you
you know what I mean?
Can you behead people in this game?
The way you
Is it
kill
like
people,
slopping limbs?
yeah,
limbs off?
he's got basically these they're called the chains of Olympus, are his weapons. They have these chains wrapped around his wrists and they've got blades on the end, and he swings them around like a big rope. And when you drag a harpy down, for instance, he treads on their back and rips their wings off. When there's a cyclops, you have to button bash to gradually remove, like a cyclops' eye. But it's so overblown. You go, this is absurd. It's like
No.
Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, but you think that, and then you'll let a kid play it, and you'll see the kid go fucking
It's just
blue.
like change.
The blood will go cold.
Change
and then-
in them. But I was like, it's just so childish. It's so childish. It actually is incredibly immature.
Yeah.
And you had a mini game that was like a sex scene where you have sex with like 3 Athenian women, and the way you had to do it, this was awful. It was basically a button bashing game where like the analog sticks, it would be like turn the analog stick round, and like me as a kid, I'm basically just playing Bop It as far as I'm concerned, and that's it. And it'd be like tap circle, and you'd hear all these like moans and stuff like that. But then if you got any of them wrong, he would go, ugh, and then they'd go, maybe next time, and then you could restart. It was just
cannot be real.
I genuinely, I swear to God, I haven't made this up.
so if you-
It's called Try Not to Come. Check it out on me.
So what you're saying is, if you miss a button, he loses his erection.
They give you no benefit of a doubt.
Yeah.
His erection vanishes like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see it. It's all off screen.
So it's
Sorry, by the way.
realistic.
Sorry, it's all off screen.
It's
it cuts to a roaring fire. But you sort of go, why can't I look at that, but I can remove someone's head loads?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can slowly pull an eye out of a skull.
Yeah.
But I can't see anything intimate.
But it was so overblown. It was great.
I can't see the most sort of natural human thing
Yeah.
that in adulthood
Yeah, I can't see an
everybody is
activity.
encouraged to explore.
Yeah,
but
no.
I could see somebody's severed head being pulled up.
Pull a spine through a fucking minotaur's nose. Like, "Bleh." And they go, yeah, good, healthy, good.
It was fine. Right, let's do some gripes, shall we? Should we
Yeah.
do some gripes? Okay, so I'm gonna start with a personal one, and it's based off Oddworld. It's based on Oddworld because in Oddworld, one of the options you had when completing the main storyline was to save like 50 slaves. Like there's 50 slaves overall of his species that are spread out throughout the game.
All throughout the missions, yeah.
All throughout the missions, and they feel optional.
And they were sort of yellow coloured and he was green or something. I remember there was some colour
I'm
difference.
very colourblind, so I don't.
Oh, yeah, of
know.
course, sorry, yeah.
So we'll give it a go. Yeah, I'm someone who, whenever I play FIFA with someone, that we have to go through all the kit options and be like, "Is this one all right for you, Glenn?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess it's going to have to be." But what I found very frustrating is that when you got to the end of the game, the default was a horrible ending, a horrible cutscene.
Yeah.
The only way to get a nice cutscene was if you saved this impossibly large amount of
Yeah.
who you just simply couldn't do it on your first playthrough. You'd have to play through the game again. So my gripe is a game's default ending being a horrible ending. I think if you made it to the end of a game, it should be a fairly nice ending. If you do all the optional stuff, if this is a game where there are multiple options of endings, Last of Us, for instance, that's a set ending, that's fine. But in a game where there are multiple endings,
You consider that a happy ending?
they're really happy. I saved her. I saved her, and I didn't like any of the other people I met. So I don't care if they like. Yeah, I think if you've just done the main base work,
Yeah.
the game should reward you with a nice ending. If that is canonical. If you've done more than that, if you've gone above and beyond, there should be a nicer ending. And I think to get a bad ending, you should have to be outright malicious. You should have to do something horrible to earn a bad ending.
What do you mean by a bad ending?
I mean to have like a low morality rating like in Red Dead Redemption 2, where you've almost got to kind of work for it, as
Yeah.
opposed to getting the bad ending out of neglect and not doing all these little bonus sides of it and that sort of thing. I'm saying this because a couple of weeks ago, I played a game called Blasphemous, which I really, really enjoyed, a very pixel art Metroidvania based on sort of like Spanish Catholicism and stuff like that. Like all your healing items are like rosary beads and all that sort of thing. It's really weird, like religious tinted, very creepy, very eerie, very disgusting. Metroidvania, but there were loads of optional tasks you could do. I spent hours and hours and hours on all of them. I probably completed the game like 98% completion when I finished it, and as a result, I got a horrible ending where like I died at the end. And you go, don't make me work. I don't work for you. I don't work for you. Isn't my reward like? I just find it bizarre. There was a great game that came out a couple of years ago called Chants of Sennaar. It was basically Duolingo the game, where you in this sort of
translate phrases like "my elephant has a bad hole."
You didn't understand anything anyone was saying, but gradually you pieced it together and you filled in the blanks of what the words meant. And it was a really fun language learning adventure game. Really, really good. I'm making it sound boring and educational. It's not. The languages were nonsense. They didn't really exist.
I'm like, you've lost me.
It was really, really fun.
Give me a gun.
Really fun, really fun educational.
But it was really satisfying. But to learn every single language in full would require it being your full-time job for several months. And I just didn't have that in me. And as a result...
Like learning a language.
Yes. And that would have been fucking fictional. I feel like learning Elvish.
There's one level that's like, move to Spain.
You have to have a Spanish IP address to pass this next level. And then at the end it goes, and it prints out a Bachelor of the Arts from the University of London.
So as a result...
In languages. You go, I've got a degree.
I didn't know I could do this.
I've got a degree in modern languages.
The ending was so horrible. And it was like the game was going, pleased with yourself, are you? And it was like, you did that. You gave me a bad ending. I shouldn't have to work for it. The default should be nice.
What was the ending? Getting a sort of dunce's cap put on you by a visibly Spanish teacher.
Yeah. It wasn't even a letter D. It was a symbol I didn't understand.
Just the Inquisition came and you had to defend yourself in a trial in Spanish.
They teach you Spanish, and then at the end, it's the roast of Glenn in Spanish.
It's the roast of me. And then what they do is they knock on your actual front door at 4 a.m. for like 2 days. And there's no one there. They just keep knocking on your door at 4 a.m. and go, we'll wake you up. If you don't do the game properly, we'll wake you up. We'll wake you up.
Tell us to stop in Spanish.
That's my gripe. I think that's a reasonable gripe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that we should save our gripes for the Patreon because we've had our time.
We've had our time. We have had a time.
What a tease!
What a tease! So, if you want to hear more and if you want to keep this episode going, head on over to our Patreon, where you get the extra episode of us talking about more games. I'll be recommending a great horror game to you. We'll be talking through Dark Souls. We'll be talking through our gripes and we'll just general gaming chat. And this is here every week. So, thank you so much for listening to Button Boys. We'll be back again next week. Follow us on all our platforms, which you can find in the episode description. Sarah, Pierre, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Goodbye.
Button Boys.